Good afternoon, everyone. I am chiming in from the Phoenix, Arizona area. Just for the record, I'm actually an Ohio native, and let's see, I graduated. I'm not. I have no issues sharing age or any of that jazz. So I graduated quite some time ago in '90 from high school, and when I did, I had no idea what I wanted to do. My parents were pushing me to be a teacher. My father was born in Italy. My mom didn't work, also Italian, and they were just happy to have kids that would go to college at all, and I was to go to the local college, and that was that. And they so I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I honestly came by engineering by a stroke of luck. I had a cousin who I was hanging out with, very close to, and his girlfriend was going to school for industrial engineering. And she talked to me and said, "You should consider it because you do well in math." I didn't even know I was that smart. I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't. And I, again, was on this path of, well, yeah, I liked English, I liked Spanish. I thought, well, maybe I'll do something like that. I mean, I was in a totally different realm than engineering. I didn't really even know what engineers did. I don't come from a family of educated people, right? They, came from Italy, very poor, and we just weren't exposed to professionals. And so after talking to her, I realized, okay, maybe I could do this. I guess I am good at math, and it's not super technical. I mean, I'm not very mechanical even to this day. And so I will tell people all the time that are considering engineering, just because you're not good in one part of engineering doesn't mean you won't be strong in another. And take me to circuit theory, and I was fantastic. But again, mechanically, give me a top view, front view, side view. I look all day and I can't find the object. And that's kind of, elementary for a lot of people that are fixed and mechanical type people. So I went ahead and tried engineering, and I went to the local college again, Youngstown State University. They had a good engineering program. It was a commuter college. I still lived at home, and I graduated with my industrial and systems engineering degree, and I did well, and I never would have believed that I would have, to be honest. And then while I was there, towards the end, I think it was my senior year, middle of the year, I got an offer to work as a contract student at General Motors Packard Electric Division. So I was waitressing, and I went ahead and took that job anyhow, even though I made way less money in this contract job, but it was exposure to a company. It was exposure to, a professional engineering atmosphere. So I went ahead and took that job, and then I ended up getting hired by General Motors as a student, and then I finished and graduated in industrial engineering, and like I said, in '94, and I got hired full time. They paid for me to get a master's. I worked with wire harnesses. And so I ended up getting my master's in electrical engineering because it was so applicable to the area that I was working in. And I'll tell you, it took me a little longer because I had to take more undergraduate classes because I switched from industrial to electrical engineering. So that's the nutshell of how I got started, and honestly, just some stroke of luck. Since then, I worked, just to try and make it quickly, I worked for 10 years with Packard Electric, which started out as a General Motors company. I worked in process engineering. I worked in product engineering. They moved me to Michigan. I worked in the sales office. And then I ended up meeting people who wanted, through social reasons, who wanted me to come and work for their company, which was a smaller, I'd say mid-sized company. So same thing, doing the same exact thing, wire harnesses. And I'm not sure I would have taken that leap, because I just, at that time, the family that I had, you joined a company, you worked there forever, and you never quit. And so it was a really odd thing for me to even consider quitting. But I did, and I ended up at this other company as a sales director, and then I was director of engineering, same thing, lots of different departments that I ran. Was there for over 10 years, and then I took a little time aside and started taking some PhD engineering classes at ASU, and thought, well, maybe I'll do that. And while I was there, the classes I took were in engineering education, and I found that, wow, not really that much has changed since I went to school for engineering. They're still telling me that there aren't enough females, there aren't enough, from underrepresented groups in engineering. And they would, present statistics and facts and all that jazz. And I was just so surprised that we weren't as represented so many years later in the marketplace. So, and I have 3 girls of my own, and between going to ASU and being exposed to the recent numbers and then having my own children and wanting to promote them in the tech fields, just because I found it to be so rewarding, I ended up starting my own business with my partners, and we created, again, a wire harness company called Jana Diversity Solutions. And partly because I was working with so many different customers at the time that were saying, oh, well, if your company were a diverse company or minority company or whatever, we'd have so much more business for you. But, since you're not, we can't give you this business. And so, you listen to that enough and you think, okay, well, maybe we should do this. And maybe that opportunity really is there. So anyhow, that's how I got started. And now I think that Jana Diversity Solutions has been in business since 2017. And we're doing, we're doing well. We're growing every year. It's exciting. It's, I'm very fortunate to have had a strong career for somebody who didn't have a clue what she wanted to do going into her freshman year of college.
Now you have don't you have 2 locations? You said Mexico and Arizona. Is that correct?
I have I have a manufacturing facility in Mexico. It's in Guaymas, Sonora, Mexico, which is maybe about 6.5 hour drive south from Phoenix, just south of Arizona.